Hi guys, welcome back to another Minimum Wagers Kitchen. I'm Gigi, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make some quick, easy pickled veggies, on a budget that is. I'm also going to be comparing the price and average cost of those really gourmet in-store pickled veggies, and also give you a cost breakdown or batch breakdown for each recipe for today. So for today we're going to actually do 5 pickled recipes. I'm very excited to show you how. So for the first one, that's going to be pickled, well, I guess pickles. Anyway, so I'll be showing you how to make pickle chips and pickle sticks at the same time, so we'll make those together in one recipe. So for the next recipe, I'm going to be doing pickled carrots. Then I'm also going to be showing you how to do pickled garlic, red bell pepper, and, oh my gosh, asparagus. Guys, these are so easy to make, and they're also great for just snacking, also too for cocktails for those nice hot summer days, and as well too like charcuterie board, all sorts of salads. I mean, the list goes on. Well, you guys, I'm super excited to show you how to make these delicious, very easy, quick pickled veggies, the 5 recipes that is, so let's go ahead and get started with the recipes, shall we? Alright, you guys, super excited to show you how to do this because it is so easy. So today we're going to go ahead and start with our pickle chips and pickle sticks recipe. So as you can see, for the pickle sticks, I went ahead and quartered the cucumber, and by the way, we're going to be using 1 cucumber each here. But going back to the pickle sticks, I went ahead and quartered it, and then quartered it again, and then did it over and over again until I got some cute little sticks here, and then I just cut the cucumber right in half. For these today, I went ahead and used English cucumbers. I feel like they have a nice crispier texture after a couple days still, and you really don't lose the flavor as well. And we'll also be using 1 cucumber sliced about this thick. There you go. And that's going to be our thick pickle chips. For our next ingredient, that's going to be about 4 sprigs of dill. And you can also use dried dill as well. And our next ingredient, that's going to be, well, I don't want to spill this, so I'll just put this right back down. But that is 1 cup of white wine vinegar. And our next ingredient is going to be 2 garlic cloves, and that's peeled. Here you go. And the next ingredient, that is going to be 1 teaspoon of just regular sugar. Next ingredient is just going to be a ½ teaspoon of regular salt. And for our last ingredient, that's going to be 2 teaspoons of pickling spice, and I'll show you what it looks like there. There you go. Alright, you guys, so I'm warming up a little bit of water, and what I'm doing right now is I really don't want to boil this brine mixture we're going to go ahead and make for our delicious pickle sticks and pickle chips. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going to go ahead and warm up this water till it almost boils, and you'll know because you'll see little bubbles on the bottom. At that point, go ahead and add your white wine vinegar, and that's the 1 cup. And again, we're going to go ahead and split this mixture into 2 for our containers. That way, if you want to go ahead and just divvy the brine recipe, you can either make the cucumber chips or the cucumber sticks. Alright, you guys, really easy. So next step is going to be adding your sugar and the salt, and most importantly, the pickling spice. And now we wait for the bubbles. So I'm just going to give this a very light stir. Alright, so now I'm just going to let this be for a couple of minutes. And in the meantime, let me get all the rest of the ingredients here, which is our cucumbers, the dill, and the garlic. So as our brine mixture is warming up, I'm going to go ahead and add that 1 garlic clove to each container here. Next, I'm going to go ahead and divvy up this dill here and kind of bury this a little bit because it will float with our mixture here. So I'm going to go ahead and put these cucumber slices on top. And then also too at this point, I like to make sure it's kind of even on the top here. Ooh, let's cover that one up too. That's mostly so that our brine mixture covers our cucumbers here. Alright, so next, I'm going to go ahead and grab some dill here. The easiest way is just tip this over a little bit and give it a twirl. Got a scraggler. And make sure that that's sitting a little bit underneath the cucumbers, just like that. There you go. Alright guys, so I have decided to add another half cup of the white wine vinegar and another half cup of just regular water. And here's why. This container is pretty big. I really want to make sure that it submerges everything before I go ahead and put it back in the fridge to cool off. So now that our mixture is pretty much done, turn that right off. And now all we have to do is fill this up with half the mixture. And the reason I'm straining this is because, well, let me show you actually. As you can see right here, we've got a whole lot of spices floating around, and well, I'd rather go ahead and strain this than have a bunch of stuff stuck to my pickles because it's just, I don't know, a little too crunchy. So now I'm going to go ahead, whoops, try not to spill everywhere. I'll be right back. Nobody said this was not going to be messy, guys. Alright, well, I transferred it into this, so this will actually work better because I can kind of measure this out. So I'm going to go ahead and pour the rest of that half mixture in there. There we go. And what did I just do? Thankfully, we got most of it out. Do over. Alright, let's go ahead and pour half the mixture in here now. Whoops! And still making a mess. Alright, you guys, and for the remainder, now that we have that left over, this should be a little bit easier. Or not. Just spilled again, of course. Well, that was an adventure. I'm sure I have, yep, there's vinegar all over the counter. I'm definitely going to have to clean this up, but now that you can see, they're well submerged, and they already smell really good too. And there's that. With our dill pieces here. And don't forget there's that garlic and everything else in there too. Well, now that these are done, let's go ahead and just let them cool for about 10 minutes or so until it gets cool enough to put in the refrigerator. And after that, just pop the lid on top. For this one, it's kind of nice because, well, screw top. There we go. And 10 minutes up, these are now ready for the fridge. So now that these are done, let's go ahead and go to our next recipe, our pickled carrots. That one is also very easy. All right, you guys, let me get everything together and I will see you in just a moment. See you in a moment. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and get ready for another very easy, quick pickled recipe, and that today is going to be with some yummy carrot sticks that I have left over. You can also buy a couple carrots, chop those right up in half, about this size. There you go. And guys, again, super easy. So I'll go ahead and start with the brine just like last time. So let's go ahead and get our heat to medium low. And I'll go ahead and start with our water, and that's a half cup of water, a half cup of cider vinegar. Next, it's going to be our pickling spice, and that's going to be 1 teaspoon. And for the last 2 ingredients for our brine, that is going to be our salt and our sugar. And today I'm using a half teaspoon each. In the pot, and there it goes. And just like before, make sure you don't boil the mixture. Make sure we're warming up the mixture enough so that it's almost boiling. So you basically want little tiny bubbles on the bottom. Alright, guys, I don't know how to tell you, but this is crazy easy. Alright, so you're going to go ahead and grab 1 sprig of rosemary to that cup of carrots here. And just like the pickles, you're going to go ahead and try to bury this. That way it doesn't float up to the top. And because it was so messy earlier, and even messy with this, I'm going to go ahead and be really careful straining this again this time. Alright, you guys, our brine is almost done. I'll give this a quick stir here. Well, since I think this might be a little bit more manageable, I'm going to go ahead and try to just pour our brine mixture right into our container here. Alright, so our brine mixture is ready to go. And that cider vinegar and also too those pickling spices smell very, very good. I cannot wait to try these with that rosemary in there. Alright, you guys, well, this is very hot. Wish me luck. Here we go. Yay! Alright, you guys, so that is it for the pickled carrots. That way you can kind of see what it looks like. And go ahead and get that rosemary back in. Yeah. Whoops. And there you go. Oh my goodness, you guys, with that rosemary and the cider vinegar, I think these are going to be so good. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and let these cool off for about 10 minutes as well, and then pop the lid on top, stick them in the fridge, and give them a good 2 hours before I go ahead and snack on these. But with all of our recipes today, I'm going to go ahead and let these sit in the refrigerator for a good 24 hours so that they really develop the flavor. And tomorrow, we'll go ahead and taste them together. Alright, you guys, let me go ahead and get everything ready for the next recipe, and that's going to be our pickled garlic. Yum! Alright, guys, I will see you in just a moment. See you in a moment. Alright, you guys, so for our third recipe, that's going to be our very yummy and super easy pickled garlic. So what I've gone ahead and done is peeled my garlic. By the way, you can also buy peeled garlic if you don't have time. It does cost a little bit more, and I feel like fresh garlic is, well, way fresher. So we'll go ahead and start with about 1 cup of peeled garlic here. And I like to use whole garlic because why not? That next ingredient is going to be a half cup of water, and I'm going to go ahead and start that brine in the meantime. A half cup of the white wine vinegar as well, right in the sauce pot. Next is going to be 3 teaspoons of the pickling spice. Dump that right in. And we're also going to be using a half teaspoon each of salt and sugar. Boom and boom. And guys, I'm basically waiting for the mixture to warm up here. Same thing like all the other ones. We're going to go ahead and wait till there's little bubbles at the bottom. Make sure that sugar and the salt is dissolved as well. And just give it a little quick stir. Well, our brine is ready. And since it kind of worked earlier with this kind of container, wish me luck again. Alright, you guys, so let's go ahead and strain our brine into our garlic. There we go. Guys, that was super easy. Check that out. That's it. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, actually, it's not in the recipe, but I'm just going to go ahead and add that sprig of dill in here because I think that would really help out the flavor. I will be right back. Alright, so I definitely wanted to use up a little bit of that dill I had left over from the package, so I'm going to go ahead and use about 1 sprig here, and let's go ahead and add that on here. And same thing, guys, I'm going to try to bury this dill with some of that garlic. That way it stays submerged. And same thing like before, I'm going to go ahead and let this cool down for about 10 minutes, then I'll go ahead and refrigerate it. You can go ahead and snack on these about 2 to 3 hours from now after they're nicely cooled, but I do suggest for these at least 24 hours because you will get a way better flavor. Alright, you guys, so let me go ahead and get this cooled down and then refrigerated. I'll get all of our ingredients together for our 4th recipe, and that's going to be pickled red bell pepper strips. Alright, you guys, can't wait. See you in a moment. Alright, you guys, so for recipe number 4, that's going to be our pickled bell pepper strips. These are so yum. If you haven't tried them, I definitely highly recommend them. So for our ingredients today, that's going to be about 1 cup of bell pepper strips, and that's about, for this one, it was a small red bell pepper, so it actually yielded for that 1 cup. All I did was cut it lengthwise into strips just like this. And that's it. And while I call out the ingredients, let's go ahead and start on our brine, shall we? So for the next ingredient, that's going to be a 1/2 cup of water, a 1/2 cup of red wine vinegar, 1 bay leaf. This one's kind of small, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of add a really tiny one to that one too. And that's dried bay leaf, by the way. That is going to go right on the brine. And of course, 2 teaspoons of the pickling spice as well. And last but not least, 1/2 teaspoon each of salt and sugar as well. Just like that. Well, you guys, this is going pretty darn quick. We've already done what? This is our 4th recipe. We've got 1 more to go, and then we'll have about 24 hours to wait until all of our yummy pickled veggies develop all that flavor so we can try them out together. And by the way, don't forget, you can start snacking on these about 2 to 3 hours after they've refrigerated fully. Alright, so our brine is ready. Let's go ahead and pour this right into the container here. Just enough so that way it covers everything. Wow, that was just enough to cover all of our bell pepper strips. And here, I'll show you real quick. There you go. Ta-da! Alright guys, so don't forget, you can put your own twist to this. So I'm making these so that they're pretty inexpensive, they're not super expensive to make, and also too, not time consuming. For this one, I do suggest a little bit of garlic or rosemary. You can also too use that dill as well. And I also recommend adding a little bit of just a couple of like sage leaves in there as well. That's really tasty. And check a garlic clove in there too, because oh my gosh. Alright guys, so just like last time, I'm going to go ahead and cool these down for a good 10 minutes. Go ahead and refrigerate these overnight, and then we will try these tomorrow morning. But let me go ahead and get everything ready for our delicious last recipe, and that's going to be pickled asparagus. Alright guys, I will see you in just a second. See you in a second. Alright you guys, so for our 5th and last recipe, that's going to be our pickled asparagus. So what I've gone ahead and done is trim the ends off. Because the container isn't as long, I've gone ahead and trimmed off a little bit of the bottoms, but you can still snack on those. Those are also very good too. So what we'll go ahead and start with our ingredients today, that's going to be about a bunch of asparagus here. This one's going to be our spendiest pickled veggie today too, by the way, because of the asparagus. But we're still going to be saving, trust me. So I'll go ahead and put our asparagus aside and start with our brine. So for our brine today, that's going to be a half cup of water, a half cup of red wine vinegar, right in there. And for our next ingredient, that's going to be 3 teaspoons of the pickling spice as well, right on our brine. And for the last 2 ingredients for a brine, again, that's going to be a half teaspoon of salt and sugar. And just like that. So again, I'm going to go ahead and give this a quick stir. And that's going to be about medium to medium-low heat. And again, we want little bubbles to form on the bottom. Then I'll go ahead and turn this off and strain it right into our container here. And hopefully I won't make a mess with this one. And I mean, somehow, just call me spilly, I don't know. Somehow I'm spilling somehow off of this. Who knew? Alright, you guys, so our brine is ready. So, oh my gosh. Before we do that, let me go ahead and put that off there. And go ahead and add our 2 cloves of garlic. So what I've done is I've got the 2 cloves of garlic here, and I just cut those right in half. So we'll go ahead and kind of do the same thing and try to bury these. That way they don't float to the top. This will definitely help it to get the maximum flavor off of these. And guys, make sure too you give your veggies a little bit of room so that way that brine covers all those veggies and the top as well. Alright, you guys, wish me luck. This is a smaller sauce pot, so we'll see here. Oh, thank goodness. Well guys, I gotta say, with the containers that I have here, these tall ones, definitely make a little extra brine for this. I would double up on the recipe just because it won't cover all the way. So what I'm going to do is just add these pickling spices back in. And right now what I'm doing is I'm just making just a little bit extra brine here, so that way we can just toss it right in. Well, while that brine warms up, don't forget to hit like, don't forget to hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know when the next video is up, because yay! Alright you guys, back to the video here. So our brine is now warmed up, and I'm going to go ahead and pour the rest of that in here. Man, it's like no fails, just spill. Alright you guys, so here is what this looks like with the red wine vinegar brine mixture here. Oh my gosh, that smells really good. I cannot wait to try this. So yeah, I'll go ahead and let these cool off, including too the rest of the delicious quick pickled veggies that we have in the refrigerator cooling off for the next 24 hours. And then we'll go ahead and plate them and taste them. But in the meantime, let's find out how much the gourmet cost versus our batch cost. Alright you guys, I'll be back in just a second to share that with you. Oh my gosh you guys, look at our pickled bounty. That is quite a lot of pickled stuff in no time at all. And I have to say, so for the pickles themselves, the pickle chips and our pickled sticks, for those, I can already smell all the good like dill developing in there too, and that piece of garlic that's in there. So I'm excited about trying these tomorrow, and I really don't think they're going to lose a whole lot of color either, which is very exciting. So for the next one then we have our delicious pickled carrots, and oh my gosh, definitely smell that nice cider vinegar infusing with that rosemary, giving it that sweet and savoriness. So very excited about those as well. And for our next ones, we have our garlic here. And that one's super easy. Now, just to give you a heads up, I did not have the dill on the original recipe. I just kind of tossed that in there because I think it's going to make it really flavorful. And for our next recipe, that's going to be our fresh red bell pepper strips. And that's gonna be so good. I cannot wait to try those. Oh my gosh, they smell incredible. And guys, for our last recipe, that was basically like one bunch of asparagus. We did go ahead and cut some pieces because it was a little too big, but as you can see, there's that garlic, red wine vinegar, which is going to make these so darn tasty and different and flavorful as well. So let's go ahead and break down the cost for these, shall we? Alright you guys, let's go ahead and break down the cost for these delicious pickle chips and pickle sticks. So for the gourmet ones at the store, these run you about, $3.49 to $5.99. Those are the least expensive ones, by the way, that I was finding online and at the store as well that were gourmet. So these at home, let's find out how much these cost each. Alright guys, can you guess? And if you do, you should leave me a comment. Oh my gosh, you guys, per batch, $1.23 per batch. Alright, you know those really fancy spicy ones? You can definitely add more stuff to them, and I think still you will be under budget. Especially too with some of those gourmet ones that you find at the store with a similar container size. And I have to say those can run you a good $8.99. Although they are delicious, it's great to try them at home and make them at home and get that really crunchy, yummy, satisfying flavor. Because these definitely are very crunchy. Alright you guys, so let's go ahead and move on to our next recipe and comparison pricing for those as well. Alright you guys, so for our pickled carrot sticks with the rosemary and the cider vinegar, and oh, it smells so good. Alright, sorry, got distracted. Let's go back to the pricing here. So how much at the store for the fancy kind for these carrots? And that's for the pickled carrots, by the way. Now that is going for, oh my gosh, $5.49 a container. And by the way, guys, I did take in consideration the size, how much we used, and the ounces too per container, like average container at the grocery store or online, and what we're making today. So I'm definitely doing a really good comparable average on pricing. Alright guys, and for the batch, $1.59. That's it. $1.59. That's pretty darn good. That's mostly too because of the cider vinegar. I had a smaller container, so. But my gosh, really, like $1.59. That's pretty darn good. I definitely will be snacking on these. Alright guys, and for our next one, that's going to be our pickled garlic. And for this one, the average price for the fancy store-bought kind or online, that is going to be, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? For this much? Huh. No way. That's... So the fancy store-bought kind varies from $3.98 to $12.99, and that's for a cup's worth of garlic cloves, by the way. What on earth? Well, I'm happy to report that for this batch, that cost us $1.56 to make this, and that's because I added that extra dill in there, by the way, so the cost is included with that. I went ahead and added that for you, so it would make the recipe more complete. The reason I went ahead and added the dill on there, at least the price for it, I just want to make sure that way the price was correct in the end. But seriously, up to $12.99 for a cup of pickled garlic? There better be some diamond chips, gold, I don't know, something fancier than there. And I'm sure there is, but oh my gosh, $12.99. I'll go ahead and stick to $1.56. Plus, this is starting to smell so good. Alright you guys, so let's go ahead and move on to our next recipe, and that's going to be for the red bell pepper strips. Well, my gosh, all of these are just super easy to make, and I have to say that these were also very easy to make. By the way, I don't see these very often. If not, I've seen them maybe like at a couple of very like random high-end delis, but I have to say these are one of my favorites. They're so yummy to snack on, and it's the red bell pepper pickled strips. Alright, you guys, so typically these come as roasted bell pepper strips. These I like because they still have that crunch and they definitely have that lovely bell pepper flavor as well, which is that nice sweetness to them. So for these, I have to say I had to look around quite a bit and I did a little bit of comparing, and the price that it came out to for the fancy store-bought kind that I could find was about $5.89 and really moving up to towards $12.68, which is, that's a lot. I mean, holy moly. Why would you charge $12.68 when you can make these for $2.84? And then again, did I just spill? Oh, thank goodness, not this time. But I have to say, like, $5.89 to $12.68 when our batch was $2.84, and mind you, most of the cost went towards the bell pepper. The bell pepper was $1.49 for one bell pepper. Yep, they're pretty expensive right now. But still, you are saving so much money. I mean, more than half. Well, practically half. And I mean, if it's going up to $12.68, that's just outrageous. I'll go ahead and make these for $2.84. Thank you very much. Because literally it took me no time at all. Alright, you guys, and for the last one, that's going to be the delicious pickled asparagus in red wine vinegar. I cannot wait to try this out tomorrow. Oh, these are so tasty. Actually, all of them are very tasty, but hands down for the pickled red bell pepper strips and the asparagus and the red wine vinegar brine. Alright guys, so these get spendy at the store for sure. So the least expensive store-bought fancy kind at the store or online were about $8.49. These go up to like $15+. That's crazy. And also too, I noticed that the containers are about half the size of what we're using. We're actually using a whole bunch of asparagus, as opposed to, well, I gotta say, like, a lot of those containers were basically like half the amount. So do keep that in mind. So double the price when you're thinking of this, making this at home. But for the batch itself, that was, of course, our spendiest pickled veggie today. Because of the asparagus, it is a little bit spendier. So this one came out to $4.56. And again, you can do half a batch if you want to, but a lot of times with asparagus, I just want to go ahead and use it up and make some pickles out of them, because why not? Well, you saw how easy these were to make, so we're going to go ahead and let these all cool down and get nicely refrigerated for at least 24 hours, and I will see you tomorrow to go ahead and taste everything together. Alright you guys, I will see you in a few moments. See you in a moment. Alright you guys, so I am back. Outfit change later and 24 hours later. Everything is plated for us to try out together. I am super excited. These smell so good. Oh my gosh. Alright you guys, let's go ahead and taste these out, shall we? Alright, so we'll go ahead and start with our pickled chips and pickled sticks. Alright you guys, so I went ahead and plated everything out so that way you can take a look and see what it looks like after 24 hours. And as you can see, these pickles really didn't lose a lot of color, which is awesome, especially these pickle chips. Alright, and then we do have those pickled carrots. And oh my gosh, with that cider vinegar, these smell so nice and sweet. I can't wait to taste them. And next we have our pickled garlic. And this also smells great. Now remember, we went ahead and added a little bit of that dill. That really made a huge difference. And for the fourth recipe, that's going to be our pickled red bell pepper strips. And by the way, these still have a nice crunch to them, so I'm excited to try these out. And last but not least, our delicious pickled red wine vinegar asparagus. And this is also crunchy but delicious. Now remember guys, when you do get this in the fancy packaging, they tend to be, well, a little sloppy. These still have the crunch to them, but now they've also infused all that flavor as well, so very excited to try these as well. Well, you guys, are you ready? Because I am ready to try all of these. Alright guys, let's go ahead and try these together, shall we? Alright you guys, so excited! So we'll go ahead and start with the pickle chips and the pickle sticks. So let's go ahead and get started with this pickle stick here, and I'm going to get a bigger one here. And I'll go ahead and show you here what it looks like. There you go. Alright you guys, let's go ahead and give this a crunch. That is a good pickle. Very sweet, and you still have that full cucumber flavor as well with that pickling. And so crunchy. Wow guys, these are so tasty. Not only do you have that little bit of sugar, it's that pickling spice as well, but really there's that garlic and that dill in there. Super simple, super crunchy, super tasty. Oh my gosh. So crunchy. That was refreshing. Alright you guys, and for the next one, that is going to be our pickled chips. And that is the same exact brine recipe and everything with the garlic and the dill as well. For this one, I'm going to go ahead and try out the texture as well. And guys, I really love these pickles. They're so good, you still get that full crunch, and two, you still have that nice cucumber flavor in there as well. Alright you guys, let's go ahead and try these out, shall we? And gone. That is tasty. Also very crunchy. And again, we do have a different shape, so that can always alter the texture. But for this specific brine, it really keeps the integrity of that crunch too. So these are absolutely delicious. Definitely recommend trying these out. Alright you guys, and for the second recipe, the smell is taunting me and it smells so good. That's going to be our pickled carrots. And that, by the way, is with that rosemary and cider vinegar as well. Alright you guys, let's go ahead and try out our delicious pickled carrots. Yum. Still crunchy. Guys, this is why I love this brine recipe. You're still really brining the actual vegetables, but you're still retaining a lot of that crispiness. And that's why I usually say about a week to 2 weeks to use these up, because that way you still have that nice texture to them. And flavor as well. My gosh, you guys, these were so tasty. And by the way, you're not limited on what ingredients you can throw into your brine. So again, not limited, and with the carrot sticks, I've made these before with rosemary, a little ginger and garlic, and oh my gosh, so good. Especially too if you don't have cider vinegar and you're just using, you know, like white wine or white vinegar, makes it really tasty. Alright you guys, so let's go ahead and go to our next recipe, and that's going to be our pickled garlic. Alright you guys, see you in a moment. And for our third recipe, that is going to be our pickled garlic. This is so good. And by the way you guys, I went ahead and added that dill towards the end, so it really did heighten that flavor. That smells really good. So I'm gonna try to get a little piece here because I don't want garlic breath all day. Although these are very delicious. Oh, it smells so good. Alright you guys, let's give this a little chomp. Wow, that's good. I'm glad I took a little chunk because that is very potent, but very delicious. Oh my gosh. This is so good in like any salad pretty much. You can also use this and like cook it in a broth, make some stew. Oh my gosh, it's like limitless. And very tasty on like a little bit of like whipped butter, and you can shave some of that garlic into it. A little pickled garlic gives it a little bit of zing. Super tasty. My gosh, you guys, that was so good. So moving on to our fourth recipe, which will be our red bell pepper strips, and that's pickled red bell pepper strips. Let's go ahead and give these a taste because I am super excited about these. Oh, they smell so good, and I love the crunchiness of them as well. It's nice that this brine retains that crunchiness. So let's go ahead and try these together, shall we? And I'm going to go ahead and grab a big one, because why not? Now I can definitely be snacking on these all day long. These are so good. Guys, so tasty. The red wine vinegar makes a huge difference. Also too, including that bay leaf and the brine and the garlic too, really heightens that flavor. But you still get that crunchiness and that nice full sweetness from that red bell pepper. These are excellent. I highly recommend these. Definitely try these out. And if you do, make sure to leave me a comment. Well, you know what? It's vegetables. I'm gonna have another one because why not? Yum. So tasty. And also gone. Alright, you guys, and for our grand finale, we've got our delicious red wine vinegar asparagus. And that's pickled red wine vinegar asparagus. Oh my gosh, these are so tasty. I am very excited to try these out with you. And these also are a must to try. Guys, these are so simple. I mean, it's just red wine vinegar, and then a little bit of that garlic really accentuates that flavor. If you let them soak for a good 24 hours, these are super tasty. And guess what? They're not all floppy like the fancy store-bought kind. You still get a crunch out of these. Alright, you guys, let's go ahead and try this delicious pickled asparagus together. Oh my gosh, that is super tasty. Gotta love the crunch too. Guys, I gotta say, these are super tasty. I think I'm gonna have another piece. Now that was worth it. Well, you guys, I had a fantastic time showing you how to make all these delicious, easy, quick pickled recipes on a budget, that is. And if you do try any of these, definitely leave me a comment. And in the meantime, I will see you in the next Minimum Wagers Kitchen. See you next Saturday. Bye. I think I'm gonna have to have a little more asparagus because, oh my gosh, that is so tasty. So good. What a yummy snack. Super tasty.